The Hard Work Works fitness app. Overcome the holiday weight gain and get on track with your own personal trainer right at your fingertips.
The Hard Work fitness app works for all ability levels. Full gym, no problem. So what's included? You get over 200 workout plans available for every situation, from a full gym to no equipment at all. You also get access to a nutrition guide to keep you on track during the holiday season. All this for only $10 a month.
There's a special offer for Gear Freaks listeners. Use promo code STUPID.
Stupid? And get December free.
The Hard Work Works fitness app. Decide, commit, succeed, and join the hustle today. It's a great day for Canada, and therefore the world. The Canadian prince is now dipping his arms in the pudding, as is tradition. That is a South Park quote. My name is Justin. I am jersey number 14.
And I'm Corey, jersey number 72. I wish like hell I was dipping my arms in pudding. So bad right now, dude. So bad. We are here today to discuss tradition.
As is tradition.
Exactly. We've got, ladies and gentlemen, the Final Four from the college football playoff is what we are going to be discussing today. Now, I will not be biased Penn State fan too much and take this opportunity to discuss the fact that Ohio State probably should not be in, since they looked like shit in the Big Ten championship game against Northwestern. Why not give it to – okay, quick aside. Remember back in the day, like Boise State, when they were like the hot non-Power 5 team? Yeah, and they were. I mean, that was back in the BCS days, but they would never let him in because it's all about,
money.
Exactly, dollars, not who deserves it.
Yeah.
There was Coastal Carolina this year, who was right. Such a cool story.
Yeah. I was wondering, I saw a logo of there was 8 teams that were kind of in the picture. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what is that logo?
The Chanticleers, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, good for them for even being there, but man.
It's awesome. And they play on, Boise State had the Smurf turf. They play on, Coastal Carolina they play on teal turf.
I'm into it.
It's so cool, man. They have
gimmicky,
sick
but
gear.
I'm into it.
Yeah, their quarterback has a mullet, so the fans... The fans all wear mullet wigs, and it's such a cool story, man. And they do a lot of cool shit in the locker room.
How is that not money?
Right. Because these
Cinderella.
fucking guys, the Buckeyes, are in the way. I hate that about college football.
Maybe they lose, but maybe they don't.
Right? They played BYU, who at the time on a drop of a dime, because COVID has just completely pillaged college football season, like it has everybody's life. You know. Coastal Carolina and BYU, they had a several week stretch where they didn't have a game scheduled, and they were both undefeated and ranked, and they were like, we'll fucking play each other. And they did, and Coastal Carolina beat them.
Wow.
And they're still, I can't remember, I don't know what bowl game they're in off the top of my head, but it's not one of the ones that happened on New Year's Day, the playoff games that we're going to be discussing the teams from today. I wanted so bad for them to get in.
How do they get,
Cincinnati's undefeated. Right. Because
gotta
it's
play in front of more eyes.
The system is rigged for the big guy.
Yeah.
What a shocker. It's very, very emblematic of just everything in this country in general.
Man, you ain't kidding.
But
you said Cincinnati was good this year too?
Cincinnati was undefeated.
Wow.
I think they finished the year ranked 7th.
The damn Bearcats.
Yeah, man. San Jose State, I think, was another one. Yeah, it is. And I don't want to
dive too
I don't want to
deep,
get too off the rails. The Coastal Carolina thing has bothered me a lot for somebody who I don't care about them. I never spent a single second of my life thinking about Coastal Carolina football until this year, and now I'm really into them. I was like, man, this is such a cool story. But anyway, I digress. They should be there, not the fuck eyes. But we got what we got. So these are the 4 teams we're going to discuss. So. On New Year's Day, we had the Rose Bowl game, which was Alabama and Notre Dame. And we also had the Sugar Bowl, Clemson and Ohio State. It would be more fun to discuss the national championship matchup, but that gives us 2 less options to talk about.
Yeah.
And one of these 4 anyway, we already touched on in Notre Dame during the iconic episode.
And that's the thing. As much as it sucked when I was younger to deal with insufferable Notre Dame fans because they were great forever.
Yeah.
They were so bad for so long that it's kind of neat to see them back in national prominence.
Yeah.
Again, I haven't watched a single college football game. I've watched a couple snaps.
Right.
But to see their name there, it's like, okay, that's nostalgic. I'm glad they finally rebuilt.
They did, but the problem is now the arrogance that for the longest time was largely unearned for about 2 decades, now it's kind of earned again. And so Notre Dame fan is back. And this is, mind you, after being
just garbage.
Like the committees put them in the playoffs before, and they've gotten waxed like 31-3. And you're like, please stop putting them in the playoff. And join a conference. They join a conference this year.
Oh, wow, that's big.
Because COVID was just for this year because they had to realign everything and because the Big Five, conferences were going to play, but Notre Dame is an independent,
Right.
So it's like, okay, we have to
have that money.
We got to latch on for those dollars, man. So they ended up joining the ACC. Well, they had beat Clemson back in like November, I believe it was. And then they played each other in the ACC championship, and Clemson handled them. So you're thinking like, okay, and when Notre Dame beat Clemson during the regular season, it wasn't by a huge margin. I can't remember the exact score off the top of my head, but being that they split, you know what I mean? You're kind of hoping, man. At least I was, and I'm not even like hate Notre Dame guy. Mm-hmm. I kind of always liked them because Irish, but we've seen this before, man. We've seen it before. When you have so many other teams, Texas A&M was another one, even though they got drubbed by Alabama like 52-24, I think. The only thing that sucks about college football is that it's the same since they went to the playoff, and it was even the same going back to the BCS.
Yep.
You have some combination of the same 5-6 teams every year, and they're never going to give an opportunity for a smaller team like Coastal Carolina, Cincinnati, or whoever. They're never going to let them in the table, man. Like they're just not.
Boise State was good for a good, I'll say decade, but that might be a reach. But like they did that on their own.
Yeah, dude.
Like, can you imagine if they would have gotten that exposure of being in a championship game or in a bigger, at least a bigger bowl?
Yeah, that's what college football is supposed to be. Is what teams like that accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
But recruiting's become so dirty that you get what you get now.
The thing is, like, if you're a football player in high school, anywhere in the country, you know about Ohio State.
Yep.
You know about Clemson.
Right.
You sure as shit know about Alabama.
Yes.
You probably know about Notre Dame now that they're good again.
Right.
Like,
I know, man.
We can't do without one of those teams.
Right.
How does Notre Dame eke in when you have an undefeated Cincinnati?
Yeah. Well, and again, I'm not trying to be like, oh, here's the Penn State fan bitching about Ohio State again. Ohio State played, including the Big Ten championship, they played 5 games.
What?
5. And they struggled in the Big Ten title game against Northwestern. They didn't look super great against Indiana, I believe it was. I think that's who it was. They handled us pretty well, but most people did this year, especially early on. But that gets you in? That gets you in?
I don't understand. I mean, again, COVID, sure. But, like,
yeah.
To me, that's all the more excuse to go with the feel-good stories of a Coastal Carolina.
Yes.
Like, that's money. That's
right.
That's... Yeah, the small guy. Let's give them the chance this year. Why does Ohio State need this spotlight?
Right, when they're probably going to get it again next year. And I don't know why every other league has expanded the playoffs to some degree. You know what I mean? To accommodate abbreviated seasons, the fiasco with COVID. College football is like, no, we're still going to put 4 in there.
They should have done 8.
That's what it should be 8 anyway. It can kind of probably be touch and go because you're essentially doing it with dudes that are getting like not paid.
Yeah.
At least not what they should be legally. Yeah. But so that might be a little hard to work out, but I think you got to go 8 because you have every year somebody gets snubbed like that doesn't deserve it. And they end up putting somebody in that you could, I don't know, man. Like if you're an Ohio State fan, you're probably going, "No, fuck you, we deserve it. We went 5-0."
Yeah.
Okay, but Coastal Carolina went like 10-0.
So that's double.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
I'm not great at math, but
I know double digits is typically more valuable than single.
so
Then they go level of competition and blah, 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 which there is some validity to, but still.
okay, so it's if you want to level it out, what, maybe 7.5 wins as
Right.
opposed to 5?
Right. Still
It's
more.
Still more.
It's
Like-
still more than 5.
I don't know, like, see, 8. I agree with you that like it obviously causes schedule problems,
Right.
but again, this year of all years,
Yes.
how do you not figure that out?
Right,
Let's
right.
let's try it. Let's see what it looks
Yeah.
like. That's what happened when they first introduced the champion or the tournament.
Yep.
Let's just try it. See how it works. If it gives us something awesome, or it gives you confirmation.
Yeah.
Ohio State wins anyway.
Right.
Well, now we know.
Yeah, exactly. And if it does work, then you can figure it out logistically because that's what you're going to do. And because you know what you're always going to do at the end of the day if you're the NCAA or pick any $1 billion whatever in this country, you're going to figure out if it involves dollars.
Yeah. And,
Because greed. This is a country built on greed.
and this year, over all years, it should be Cinderella everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
You give them that shot.
Right.
Let them play because they're thinking, oh, nobody's going to watch Coastal Carolina. You're wrong.
That they're going to bring there. I know several people that I've discussed since in the weeks that it's been since the playoff bracket has been revealed. These the Final Four that we got that are kind of like, man, I'm just not into it, man. I'm kind of sick of it. Now that water cooler at work and whatever, and dudes in your fantasy football league, like that's not exactly representative of the sample size of the entire country,
Right.
but.
And these 4 teams have huge fan bases.
Oh, they do. But I think, and I'm not even positive off the top of my head, I want to say 2 years ago, or maybe even last year, I think we've gotten this exact same combination of 4 in the playoffs before.
Gross.
Right. I'm pretty sure we have. Now, I'm not like a Rolodex. I mean, good look it up, obviously, but I'm pretty sure this is a thing that's happened before is with these 4 is Alabama, Notre Dame, Ohio State, and Clemson. And here we are. Here we are.
Do you really think college football fan is turning off if Coastal Carolina?
Thank you. No, I'm going to make it more of a point to go to the TV. There were whenever, and I typically, I sit on my couch all weekend and watch college football on Saturdays, and the NFL on Sundays. But, it's been a busy fall, bought a house, a lot of stuff to do around the house, yada, yada. And the way logistically the season worked is different than usual because of COVID. So shit felt off. Like it wasn't appointment TV for me game like it normally was.
Right.
But aside from Penn State, the appointment games that I wanted to see were like Coastal Carolina, BYU. When they faced off, I made sure we were painting our house that weekend. The fucking living room, and I made sure, like, okay, we have to, when we're doing this, I want the TV to where I can fucking see it because I want to see this game.
Yeah,
it's just different, man. It felt like you were watching, like, this is a game like this. Typically doesn't matter in college football, and it does.
Yeah,
and it was fucking cool, man.
And I would think at this point, matchups like this, again, sure, these teams have tradition on their side. They have huge fan bases on their side. But you're running away college football fans.
Yeah. And you think about, I tend to think it's slightly overrated because I'm not a massive college basketball guy. Mm-hmm. That said, go Nova Nation. But I enjoy the March Madness tournament. And even though I don't know every team in the tournament, and I don't think most people do, even the people who get fucking paid to talk about the 66 team in the bracket. Do you really know who the backup point guard is for them, what their stat line is? Probably not.
No.
But every year you get, like locally here, 10 years ago, we had VCU make it to the Final Four.
Yeah.
And it was fucking cool. One of my buddies was going there at the time, and I made sure that weekend I went up there because I was like, I want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
You never get something like that in college football. You don't.
And I mean, think about what that, like James Madison had that run not that long ago.
Butler was in back-to-back national championships in college basketball. Butler.
And Gonzaga was good, like
late
into the 90s, into the early 2000s. And HU, the big 15-2 upset over Iowa State, I think it was, like in the mid-2000s.
I believe so, yeah.
Like,
that's what it's all about. That's what makes the tournament. Right, exactly. And when you have those stories in college football in Coastal Carolina or whoever, like, it's fun until it really, you get to the playoffs, and then we just tell you, no, it doesn't matter.
It's funny, like, the March Madness is the perfect analogy, because you know what this is? This is freaking chalk.
Right.
You can write this at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, this is Kansas, Kentucky, Duke, and North Carolina.
Yeah.
Shocker.
What's great about college basketball is, sometimes that Final Four happens.
Yes.
But it is rare.
Yeah. Every now and then you get a Long Beach State or whoever. Yeah. Exactly. And it's so cool because 9 times out of 10, if you're not a fan of one of the other teams left, who's going to get you to the TV?
Yeah.
To watch? It's going to be the underdog.
I so many times writing out my bracket.
Yep.
I would ride Syracuse all the way to the finals.
Yep.
Obviously, only the mellow year they won. And they would dump out, and then I'm like, well, who do I get behind?
Yeah.
There's Gonzaga for me.
Yeah, here's a 14 seed.
Here's
that I have never heard of.
Here's the 10 seed that just has like a string of like 3 really good games.
Right. Let me roll with them.
And then I roll with them until they die, and then then come the last round or two, you're rooting against somebody.
Right.
I'm rooting against, somebody's
the Blue
just got to beat Devil.
Yep.
Blue Devils.
Duke, exactly.
Somebody's got to beat Kentucky, man. Come on.
Yep. That's what makes the March Madness tournament so great. It is. And you don't get that in college football, man. You don't. And it sucks in a word.
What are you saying about everybody's regular season?
Yeah, right. It's you're telling them it's the NBA. Your regular season doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I love college football, man. I do. But I wish they would, and I get this system is better than what we had in the BCS, where you literally just have computers figuring it out, and not only four teams don't even get the chance, only 2 do.
Yep, and it's percentage points.
Right.
That is boring.
You have a fucking computer figuring out the 2 teams that deserve to play, and it's like, man, at least the playoff committee is 13 actual human beings.
Yeah. And I mean, there's a chance at like some different matchups here that, finals matchups at least.
Yes.
Notre Dame finally stops sucking and gets in. It's Notre
right.
Dame and Ohio
Maybe they
State
don't get drubbed. Maybe Ian Book stops throwing, for 3 yards in a cloud of dust manages not to happen. But we've got, those are the matchups we've got is Notre Dame, Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State.
There's no way they take out Alabama.
Nope.
There's no way.
Nope. Now Notre Dame's got a good, a damn good defense, but Alabama, and that's the thing with these big programs. You can just reload and retool every year. You've got 5-star recruits that'll only play 1 fucking year because they've been sitting on the bench forever behind other 5-star guys. Yep. And you're just like, okay,
Here we go.
Right. Time to make another run.
Man. All right. So I guess we already touched on Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So we'll just briefly go back over them. They're iconic.
Yes.
The Golden Dome. Those helmets are like elite level.
They're the best.
I
hate
great. How much I love them because
I do too.
It's just a solid color, and there's no reason I should love it so much.
Yep.
But it just looks great.
When you can turn your helmet into an expression, the Golden Domers, okay, you win. And they've always had top-notch gear. That's why we covered them in the Iconic episode. And the only real dilemma you can have about Notre Dame, because for the most part, their gear's largely remained unchanged. They'll throw like a clover or whatever on the helmet every now and then or whatever. Mm-hmm. But, for the most part, it's generally unchanged. It's just whether or not you prefer the navy blue or kind of the more Kelly green. I like the Kelly green. Personally, more of the green. I like the green when they go with the more sparkly gold helmet with like the metallic Kelly green face mask. I think that looks just fucking sweet. And I typically don't like shiny helmets.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan. I'm not saying go matte like the Jaguars did a couple years ago, but I shouldn't be I get high def now, but I shouldn't be able to visibly see so many sparkles on my damn TV.
It's ridiculous. There's no reason that you and I should love that helmet so much, but it's great.
It is, man. It is. And I think what it is the face mask puts it over the top to me, because that metallic green on it looks so good, and when you put it with the Kelly, that green jersey, like that's Irish to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's green. That's what I think of. You're the fucking Fighting Irish. You know what I mean? You have there's a goddamn leprechaun running around.
I mean, they're not the Blue Bombers? All that gold, I just assumed.
Right, dude. Damn them.
Gotta zing them. Gotta zing them.
Every time, man. They deserve it. They made their bed. They must lay in it. But yeah, that's my personal favorite with Notre Dame. But I mean, there's nothing they have where I go gross.
That's true. Moving on to their opponent, the Alabama Crimson Tide. So this is such plain gear, and this is one of those situations. I hate this team.
Yes.
And they had their moment where they stunk for a little while too. It didn't last for very long, and they've pretty much been back at the top of the mountain for I don't even remember how long since they've been back.
It's forever. It's disgusting.
But this is one of the very few exceptions to the number on the helmet rule. I hate numbers on the helmet.
Agreed.
For some reason, it's acceptable with Alabama.
I think this is the only one where it works. This and the Chargers. Although with the Chargers, you get the number with the lightning bolt, so
right.
it's not strictly a number. I cannot stand Alabama. I think that's probably consensus from everybody that's not a Bama fan. But I mean, I can't lie, man. This gear is it's legit, man. And that I'm not so much for the whites.
No.
But the crimsons, I guess you would call them, the homes are damn good, man. They're damn good. I think they're tough to beat, and that's when you think about college football. To me, a lot of it is, tradition.
Yep.
And this is, I mean, it's been unchanged for
forever.
Yeah,
freaking ever.
Like you can gloss it up a little bit, right? Exactly. But I mean, they've been wearing the same thing forever, and it doesn't need to be changed. Like you can't. If you're Alabama, you can't throw together like a uniform. You can't throw together uniform combinations that the University of Oregon does. It's not going to work for you. You know what I mean? You need to stick with what you got because you're fucking Alabama.
Dude, if they busted out the A on the helmet, I would be mad. I would be like, I don't want it.
Yeah.
Don't.
Get it out of here, even though it's more acceptable.
It's bizarre to me. Like
right.
The passes I'm willing to make for this team that I hate.
Yes, exactly.
But if they went out and something, I mean, I guess maybe the hate would be rightfully so at that point. But for some reason, they're doing the number on the helmet. It's plain. It is plain gear.
It's as plain as it could be.
And it's unchanged.
Yep.
Freaking Forrest Gump rocked this gear. Like, I mean, come on.
Yeah. The plain, just the basic white stripe across the helmet.
There's like no outline to the number. It's just plain white.
Nothing.
This shouldn't work.
It shouldn't. If you put this on anybody else but Alabama, I'd go, I mean, any effort?
Just some effort would be nice.
Yeah. You're too lazy to even do an outline, but it like you said, hating Alabama, never change your gear.
Yeah.
I wish you would change your record.
Yeah, I wish you would start losing. That'd be nice.
Yeah, just go away for a little bit.
Just a little bit. Long enough for Coastal Carolina to sneak in.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. Long enough just so where we get tired of, till we forget that we hated you so much at one point.
Yeah. That helmet, man. Like, I need to get away from here.
It's so good. It is.
And the Crimson Tide, that's a great name.
It's such a cool name, man. I don't know. The logo, though, I don't know what an elephant is, but. Or I know what an elephant is. I don't know what is that involved with the Crimson Tide? I have no idea. But the name itself is sweet. You know what?
Before we move on to the next team, let's do a little research and find out what this means.
Yeah, why the hell an elephant?
And they're showing us plenty of elephant on images.
The elephant story
goes back to 1930 season because Wallace Wade had assembled a great football team. Hold your horses, the elephants are coming.
All right.
Okay, not very anticlimactic. You know what? I clicked on it, but I don't know that we need this. Strupper and other writers continue to refer to Alabama linemen as red elephants, the color referring to the crimson jerseys. Okay. Well, it's not as fun.
No, it's not. It's not the backstory that it should be if you're going to keep using that almost 100 years later. Jesus, what a letdown.
I mean, at least we know now.
Right. Now you learn something every day, kids. Now you can learn with us.
Your gear freaks are here to help you.
Right. Now we know why an elephant.
So let's switch over to the other side and another team that we both hate, the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Gross.
But again, this is some of the best gear in football. I hate to give it to them.
It is, man, and it again. They're the Dallas Cowboys of college football for me as a Penn State fan. I dig the red jerseys are sweet.
Definitely better than the whites.
Yeah. Even but I like a gray pant. Mm-hmm. I do, and I think that we talked Eagles before. I think that's kind of why I hope for the Kelly Green to make. I want the gray silver pant back in my life. Not
loving the blacks.
I do. God, I'm so sick of those, man, and the just gaudy stripes down them. But top to bottom, this uniform's solid. I could do without the millions of Buckeyes. I get pride stickers. We used to do those at Kickitan as well. I get it. But there's a line. There's a line, man. And I don't maybe they still do it. I don't know. I think it's just one of those things now. Like when I was a kid and I would watch college football, the hell is that?
Yeah.
What is that? That doesn't look like it's like a helmet's supposed to. Now, honestly, as we're looking at these pictures, I don't even know really if they still do it. I would assume so, but I don't notice it anymore just because it's embedded so much in my dome that I don't I'm not picking up on that anymore. I typically am watching, love the gear, to check out teams' gear every time I'm watching, but I'm not counting the Buckeyes on helmets like I was when I was 9 years old, The
one thing I've always liked about it, though, and I don't know if they still do it, but they always used to put it just on the left side.
Yeah.
It was never on the right side. The right was always just the plain gray.
Yep.
They got great helmets. Again,
They do.
It's just plain.
Right.
And it shouldn't be cool, but it is.
It is, man.
This is a team I hate, except for I think there was an exception. Now I can't remember. They played somebody, and I'm like, oh, God, I need them to win. But this was when they were, back on the rise.
Right.
They had just come out of the rubble. So I was like, yeah, I need them to win.
Right.
Now, pretty pointless story because I don't remember who the hell. It may have been USC. Did they play USC?
They might have,
because I got tired of USC fast.
Oh, dude, they wore out their welcome. Yes,
quick.
They did, but while they lasted though, they were as good as anybody. That Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush team, they were the shit when I was in high school and everything. But they did. They were unstoppable for about 2 years, and then Texas happened. That was the USC Texas game that was one of the coolest games I've ever seen. One of the best games I've seen to this day. But they were down for a while and it was enjoyable. And then I wish they would go away again, honestly. But I mean, I will say, I guess we talked in this, when it comes to the NHL, there's certain the NHL is better. And I hate saying this when the Red Wings are good.
Yeah.
When the Habs are good the Leafs.
Mm-hmm.
College football is better when Ohio State's viable.
Yeah.
I wish they weren't as disgusting as they are now, but what are you going to do? Yeah. I look at it like this, though, and it bothers me more so because they are the Dallas Cowboys for me, so they're a rival. But if it wasn't Ohio State, it would be pick a team, fucking Texas, or if it wasn't them, it would be another team in their place. You know what I mean? It's just swap out the laundry,
Yeah. So, yeah, I like the Ohio State stuff.
Your gear's good, and that's all the good stuff we're going to say about you.
Now, this might be the best of the bunch. We're moving on
100%.
to the Clemson Tigers. Always been a huge fan of the color scheme.
Yes.
Orange, purple.
Yes.
Win.
And
don't change it. I love you. Thank you.
It's so good. It's funny because Clemson has just recently become in this level with the Bamas and the Ohio States of the world. They weren't always there, and I always I remember when Clemson was kind of like the program on the rise, and it was cool when they had C.J. Spiller and they had this kid named Kyle Parker as their quarterback. And it was I always liked Clemson. I think my favorite Eagle of all time, Brian Dawkins, went to Clemson.
Oh.
And I have always fucking loved that helmet.
Oh, yeah.
It is so good, dude.
Yeah.
It is so good.
I don't know that I put it up right next to Notre Dame. I put it up above Alabama, and I put it up above Ohio State for sure, if we're ranking the 4 that we talked about today.
100%.
I don't know that I can put it past Notre Dame, but it is second best of these 4. I'd have to think about the rest of college football, but
yeah, in terms of the ones I like the most across the board, I like Clemson's the best. But again, like you said, I think a lot of that is my hatred for them is not what it is for some of the others.
Mm-hmm.
And the colors, orange and purple, man. It the paw print's fucking cool too, man. And it looks good with a white face mask. That is that is how a helmet should look.
Yeah.
It looks so good.
Yeah.
And I they don't wear them as much anymore. And the oranges are great, the home oranges. There's something to me, I have always liked those purples. The purple jersey, the purple top. I've always liked them, man. I've always liked those a lot. I don't know why. Maybe it's because they kind of don't I remember when they were predominantly they went through a couple year stretch in the early 2010s. I want to say where they wore those quite a bit. And now they kind of went away. They'll break them out here and there. Something about those, man, I like. Maybe it's because the orange is the thing now. They're back to that. And so it's kind of oh, man, you took it away. Yeah, you took it away. Now I want.
What's funny is, I look at that, and I think part of the reason I'm so drawn to Clemson is because I love the Florida Gators gear, but they're the Florida Gators.
Dude, yes. Yes.
So I hate them.
I agree completely. Every time I see Florida on my TV, there's something about, and I know it's basic, the helmet just has Gators spelled out in cursive. I love the helmet, though, man.
It's great.
I think the helmet looks so cool. The gear is awesome, man.
Yeah.
The color scheme's a win. Like you said, though.
It's the Gators.
It's Florida.
I don't want that.
It's Florida, man.
Get
so
out
no.
of here.
Yeah.
And so then you have Clemson, which is adjacent color scheme-wise. It's a team that's less egregious.
Yep.
They haven't always been great. They've just kind of they worked their way in.
Yes. Yes.
And so it's and again, of the 4 teams, if Clemson won,
yep,
I'd be cool.
That's who I want, man. And Notre Dame, I guess, would be if you take all the suckers out of the equation. It'd be cool because I've always liked Notre Dame too. Ohio State, absolutely not. Bama, get the hell out of here. Clemson or Notre Dame would be sweet, but Clemson has the chance. Notre Dame,
probably not.
Yeah, Notre Dame's gonna gag all over themselves again.
But okay, so rank them. Rank the 4. I'm going Notre Dame, Clemson, then Bama, then Ohio State.
I will go. Give me. Are we going favorites or what we like the best or?
Yeah, favorite gear. Yeah.
Clemson 1 all day, every day out of these 4. I go Notre Dame 2. I'll go Bama 3, Ohio State 4. So same as you, just flip flop Clemson and Notre Dame. I've always liked Clemson's a lot, man, and I dig Notre Dame's too. This helmet ever since I was a kid, I was yo, that it's cool looking. It's just cool. It's there's a bunch of tigers and lions and birds. There's only been so many mascots you can have in the world of sports. You know what I mean? It's not like Tigers is uncharted territory. Right. You know what I mean?
As a matter of fact, didn't they play Auburn in the finals a couple years ago?
The Tigers versus the Tigers, yeah. But there's that's just a cool way of doing it. It gets the point across, and it's not the same shit you see everywhere else. You know what I mean?
I honestly think Tigers is the only drawback to Clemson.
It's funny, man, because it is.
It doesn't take me out, mind you. It's just that is literally the only minus.
Right.
It's like, tigers.
Been there before.
Yeah.
Real original. There's only about 19 other schools in Division I that are called the Tigers. That's probably a stretch, but you get my point. There's a lot, And I mean, just off topic, Cincinnati Bengals. I know that's technically whatever. Detroit Tigers, the Hamilton Tiger Cats. You know what I mean? The Auburn Tigers, like you mentioned. Like they're
LSU?
The LSU Tigers, yeah. Fuck, man.
That's two.
I know, and there's more. Like we're missing.
We're not. I mean, that's just.
That was just what 10 seconds.
Yeah,
and we already. I mean,
there's a lot of tigers.
It's not real original. There's a lot going on, and how many of them? If you're going to be a tiger, please pick a thing other than Welcome to the Jungle.
Oh God, please.
That's kind of cool when it was like, oh, the Bengals, whatever. Now it's just like
we get it.
Understood. We get it.
Wait, where are tigers from?
It's just beat to death, and you're just like, oh.
You already have an unoriginal name.
Yeah, like you didn't even try to spruce it up. Do you guys want to try to do anything different? Nah, I'll just be the Tigers.
Let's start a university. Call them the Tigers. Yeah, what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, but they had the original thought to put the paw on the helmet, which is cool.
Yeah.
So,
like I said, something like a name of if I'm going names. Let's see. If I'm going names of the four, I think Fighting Irish is probably still number one.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Crimson Tide probably two.
Yes.
Then Tigers, then Buckeyes.
I agree. Although I will say, I can't believe these words are going to come out of my mouth. I had never tried a Buckeye in my life until the wife and I went to Ohio. She's got family there, and her grandmother has. She's like, you gotta have some. And I had never. I'm such just a piece of shit. I had never tried a Buckeye in my life
because I hate them.
Because I'm a Penn State fan. I'm like, I can't. But I was being peer pressured in front of, and I'm like,
you don't want to be a dick in front of the fam.
Right. I'm like, okay, they're probably going to see me at some point while we're here. They're going to see me drink too much. So maybe if I eat a Buckeye, it'll buy me a little bit of goodwill. All right. I was like, well, what's in it? And the wife goes, peanut butter. Because I'm like, your boy loves him some peanut butter.
Crunchy or creamy?
Oh, creamy all day, every day. Okay. But I will not turn away a crunchy at all. But 100%, what you do is you get creamy. Okay, and this depends a lot. This is normally a good drunk thing for me. You get the peanut butter, and you get you a spoon, and you get just a jug of milk, and you go just sit, and you have fun.
That is fun. I miss those days. There were days where that was
so good.
I can't do that no more.
What sucks though is after about. This is too many, but after about 6 or 7 spoonfuls, you are filled with regret. You're like, why didn't I just get I
could have got a piece of bread and made some toast.
Why didn't a bag of chips suffice? Why did I have to just
half a tub of peanut butter gone?
This spoon that's in my mouth and I kept dipping, my family's gonna eat this shit. And I just didn't care.
I mean, it's peanut butter, man. All for you, every man for themselves.
It's a community. Yeah, it's gotten so bad the wife will literally hide jars from me because she knows I'll ruin them. But I always tell on myself because if I thought at one point I was smart enough to you know how it has the film, the little white paper you tear off. There's always a little residue on that. Typically, you can't let that go to waste. By the way, but
never.
I thought I was being like a genius. I left it on there. I didn't rip it off all the way. And when I was finished being a fat ass, I put the paper back down and closed the. So I thought man, this is gonna fool her. You ain't gonna know shit. And then forgetting though to think that I had eaten so much that you could see the spoon scrapes because it comes in a clear plastic jar.
Yeah,
you kind of tell on I can't hollow out with the spoon.
Oh God!
And she found it, and she was like, "Did you really think?" I'm not insulting your intelligence, but yeah, I really did think this would fool you.
I'm the only crunchy guy in the house.
Are you?
So, like, crunchy's my thing. So I can
load up, dude.
Blam.
Hell yeah.
And because it's a great late night snack. Like,
it's so good.
I don't want to make nothing. And it's oftentimes I can do 1 spoon, 2 spoon, blam, done.
Good. Yep.
Perfect. You know, down some water to make sure you're good.
So you have discipline, friend.
I wish I had more, but
I wish I had any.
But like, it is so crunchy's just me.
Yeah.
Creamy is everybody else in the house, essentially.
So they've got to fight. You win, though. Portion control, nobody's fighting you.
And it's just like, look, I mean, I'm willing to share my crunchy.
No, don't. Don't share the crunchy. Keep it. It's valuable.
My daughter's recently come to the side of the spoon.
Okay.
And I caught her the other morning at the computer watching YouTube. Blam.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, it's the creamy, so like, I'm not entirely mad. I got the crunchy. It's mine.
I have my jar. Somebody else
but
can deal with that. It is when you figure out how inefficient it is to make a sandwich with it. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I love a peanut butter sandwich, but preference, give me the spoon in a gallon. Because it's the ultra gross way to live.
Yes, it's the worst, but it's the best.
It is. And you know what you do if you eat a peanut butter sandwich anyway? You know what you're going to need? You're going to need a beverage handy.
Absolutely.
So why am I going to waste
Skip the bread?
Dude, I can put cold cuts on that bread and enjoy it. You know what I mean? I can also eat those by myself, in front of the fridge at 2 a.m. drunk in just my drawers, but I opt to typically go for the peanut butter at those points.
Pretty much the only time a peanut butter sando is like necessary is if you have bananas.
Yes.
Peanut butter and banana sando.
It's a win, dude. It's a win.
It's such a nice treat every now and again.
Yeah.
I had to stop getting the bananas because either the kids would eat them in a day, which can only be so mad. They're eating fruit.
Say, right, exactly.
But that always leads me to buying another bundle of bananas, and then they don't eat them.
We've had too many.
It's like a little consistency here.
Right.
But, dude, like a nice slab of crunchy there across, cut yourself a banana.
Hell yeah, dude.
It's great if you toast the bread, but you also don't have to toast the bread.
The toasted bread is...
It's win.
It is, dude. It is.
But it's also not necessary.
No, you don't need it.
If you're in a rush.
Right, exactly. Especially
get
because...
my fat on.
See, right. And you've got the crunch, too, though, of the crunchy peanut butter.
Uh-huh.
If you're a creamy guy, you don't have that. The only time that you can get a crunch with it, I discovered this also while hammered. I probably sound like an alcoholic on this episode, which I'm really not, but... A lot of good ideas are born from when your mind's altered, you know? So, look at a lot of artists and writers and shit like that, and musicians. A lot of times they're fucked up, kids. But I had this dream. I might have even told you the story before, but I was really bombed one night, and I wanted two of my favorite things in the world to eat are peanut butter and bacon. So I was like, okay, why not see what they're like together? Did it, toasted the bread. If you have the time to assemble it, because bacon, if you have to make the bacon, it's time consuming and get a little messy. You know what I mean?
Probably want to do that in the morning, not when you're hammered.
Yes, exactly. Because it can, if you fall asleep standing up like a cow, you can burn your fucking house down. Thankfully, there were no casualties. And I want to do one I've been saying for years because this was fucking. I mean, I was like 22 when this happened, and here I am 32. So it's been a while since I've had one, but every now and then when I think of one, I'm like, dude, just do it again. Just to see what it's like. Because I don't know if it's... And everything is more amazing when you eat it when you're drunk.
Yeah, also true.
But you want to, you can taste it. You can enjoy the taste more when you're not.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I have to do it not so I can get a more accurate assessment, a better scouting report of what this thing is like.
Because you want to get it out on the field.
Right.
I mean, you can't do that if you haven't viewed it from all angles.
Exactly, man.
Well, it shows you our interest in...
We also got food talk today.
Shows you our interest in the football championship this year.
Right.
I'm just saying, you throw Coastal Carolina in there, and maybe Corey and I are in.
We wouldn't have talked about peanut butter for 10 minutes.
I'm telling you, 100%. haven't watched but maybe a few downs of college football.
Mm-hmm.
You put Coastal Carolina in that Final Four, I'm watching at least one of the games.
Yeah,
Guaranteed.
dude. Yeah.
100%. Without
Yep.
doubt. I'm going out of my way to do it.
Exactly. It's appointment television because it's something different, man.
You don't see it every year.
Right. And why not at least do it once, and then if they get the shit kicked out of them, you can throw your hands up and go, you know what?
We tried.
We tried, and they got fucking destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
We're not doing it again. But at least now you can go, all right, we made an effort. Because these teams are going to be there again. They might all be there again next year.
Yeah. And if not, the year after.
Right. And if not, the odd man out's going to be one of them, and the team that gets in is going to be like Georgia or somebody. Like, it's not even going to be a team that's like, ooh, different.
Yeah.
Like, it's still going to be like a power. You know what I mean?
Auburn. It's gonna be.
You know, even, I mean, some people would even say Penn State's that, you know, but it whatever. It's cool to see different, just something different, man. Just something different. Everybody freaks out in the tournament when a 16 upsets a 1 or a 15 upsets a 2.
Yeah.
Or whatever, a 14 upsets a 3. And that shit happens every year, man. And it's the biggest story of that day, or what, like, everybody talks about it. Hey, did you see, you know, fucking roast beef Tech beat Gonzaga or whoever, and everybody's talking about it. And here we're just like, oh yeah, we get, you know, Bama and, you know,
It's like
Clemson
literally
again.
1 through 4.
Right. You know?
They still, like, a 12 undoubtedly will upend a 5 every
year, dude.
At least
Yep.
1 12 will beat a 5. And people still flip shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's a 12.
Yes. Right. And that, those moments is what it's supposed to be about. What you're telling everybody is, unless you're like, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 programs in the country, and there's clearly a lot more than that. Unless you're a handful of teams, you don't have a shot in hell of playing for a national title.
And so what are these kids putting their bodies on the line for?
Right.
Sure shit isn't a paycheck.
For a free education, pal.
I mean, yeah, but still, like, come on, man.
I know.
Most of those kids are, okay.
Student athletes.
That's a conversation for another day.
Student athletes.
But, I mean, we covered it.
We did.
And we went on way longer than I thought we were going to.
We went down a lot of roads today, kids. So whatever you wanted, I hope you got it. If not, hey, maybe turn down the diva notch a little bit.
We learned why the elephant.
Yes, which I'm really disappointed.
Yeah, very much so. I wish I didn't bring it back up, but we did learn why the elephant.
We know why now.
And we learned that both of us like to spoon our peanut butter.
Yeah, man. The spoon is always better, kids. Don't
conform.
The bread just gets in the way.
It does. I mean, unless you got a jelly, or if you're just making just a peanut butter sando, you're wasting the bread.
That's what. Right. Exactly. If you're gonna throw some jam up there, then okay. But if you're just in the mood for peanut butter, go either spoon or get off your ass and go get a Reese's.
Yeah.
One of the two.
You're learning things here today, and what
Yes.
you're going to learn right now is that we are a podcast. I'm sure you know that.
Boom.
We're on all podcast platforms. You can subscribe, rate, comment, all that jank. But the absolute best way to help us is to tell somebody, hey, I listened to the Gear Freaks. They talked about peanut butter.
Right. We got these ideas for Sammy's. You want to try them?
Just saying. Like,
Right.
I mean,
We're not strictly gear here. We're mostly, of course,
Mostly.
but we life hacks. We got you.
yes, we do. Absolutely. So tell somebody that you listen to the show. Share the links. Sharing is
Yes.
caring. That helps us out a great deal. And follow us on all social media platforms. We're Gear Freaks Pod on both Twitter and Instagram.
Yes.
And that's a pretty much simple way to do it. Why the elephant? Not great.
Suckers!